But
so that's why when I was in New York, I read a lot of literature in the newspapers, different newspapers, about the Occupy Wall Street movement, and I thought, they're really missing a point. They're missing the point that not all problems are caused by banks, and not all discrepancies are, clear as a bell. I have this much income, or you have this much income. The number one discrepancy between rich and poor in the world is the quality of drinking water you can afford to have. That's the number one divide, the great divide between rich people and poor people the whole entire world over. Millions of people on this planet die every year because they don't have clean drinking water.
That's I've heard reports that starts a lot of trouble in the world when they don't have clean drinking water and good enough water to grow their food crops. It usually turns into a revolution if they do not fix these problems with people that's happening in those countries.
Right, and here in Vermont, if you look at maps, population maps, about the population centered around Lake Champlain, the demographics or whatever of the state of Vermont have changed so that more and more people live closer to the lake. And that's why there's more and more sewage treatment plants. But because 1/3, 200,000 or more people are depending on this for drinking water, we're going to end up with all kinds of health problems. We're going to end up with 1/3 of the population suffering health problems they shouldn't have.
I got a question for you. After Irene, we know there was a lot of spillage from sewer treatment plants. That's one of the worst things that happens when floods and things come. Was there a big recovery program in Lake Champlain to clean up Champlain after Irene and all that waste went in there?
Well, they're still working on it. They're still working on it, yeah.
Is this something they have a technique to do, or does they have to wait months and months and months for it to clean itself?
Well, I have over and over and over again, I've proposed something that would help that they never listen to, and that's it. Under the Constitution of the state of Vermont, it states that prisoners shall work for the public in view of the public. That's in the Constitution of the state of Vermont. Prisoners shall work for the public in view of the public. I believe that all state prisoners should be loaded up onto buses every morning and sent out to Lake Champlain to help clean up. When they're talking about invasive species in Lake Champlain and what a problem these invasive species are, they could have them gone in a few days if they had the prisoners out there and little rowboats hand pulling these weeds. They're called milfoils.
Right.
So and water chestnut, sea lamprey, zebra mussel, all these things could be taken care of by prisoners going out in little rowboats and hand pulling them.
Yeah, that's a workforce for minimum security, yes. I can see that.
I mean, sure, and there's no reason at all to have any of these problems. And as far as a lot of the cleanup of Lake Champlain, that could be done by prisoners.
It probably could. I think it's more the responsibility of these towns and municipalities to control their wastewater a little better. I mean, then we wouldn't have these problems to start off with. Well, and I imagine a lot of that algae that's growing on them lakes comes from wastewater. I mean, that's what creates the chemistry.
Of course, I mean, that's what they're admitting right here in the Lake Champlain Basin book. They're saying clear as a bell, the primary point sources of phosphorus in the basement, phosphorus is what gets all these things growing. The primary point sources of phosphorus in the basin are 86 municipal wastewater treatment plants, 58 in Vermont and 28 in New York.
That's figures. That's true. Plus, industrial waste is probably being put in there still.
Right.
At a rate.
It's the phosphorus that causes all of these things to grow, all the algae and the milfoil and so forth.
You don't see it in Springfield like you do up there because They put it in the Black River, and it runs really fast, and it goes down the Connecticut River. But I can imagine the lake, it doesn't leave the lake that fast. A lot of that water stays for a long time.
Right.